Canadian protesters have refused to move out despite an emergency act imposed in the country. Police have started warning demonstrators to end the blockade in Ottawa or face arrest. But picketing protesters say they won't leave until all COVID mandates are suspended in the country.
Leave or face arrest. That's the message on leaflets handed out by police in Ottawa on Wednesday to truckers and protesters blockading the city's downtown. And it looks like the first step in a promised crackdown to end a noisy but largely peaceful protest in the Canadian capital over the government's COVID-19 restrictions, now in its third week. At least one large rig did leave the blockade, but others remained unmoved. One demonstrator simply ripped it up. And a sign posted on a toilet in the protest area read, "Attention police, place all tickets here." Police say some 33 people have already been arrested. Protester Andrew Bro said if it happens to him, so be it.
I'm not afraid. If that's what their captains and the police chief wants to bring to this peaceful protest is violence, then that is on their own. We're here peacefully and will remain peacefully. Even if they attempt to arrest us, we will be arrested peacefully.
Ottawa residents who say they've endured some incessant honking, blocked streets, verbal harassment and litter have expressed frustration with police who, until now, have mostly watched the protest rather than intervening.
This is not a peaceful protest.
As pressure built, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this week took a rare measure, invoking Canada's Emergencies Act, which, pending parliamentary approval, would empower his government to cut off protesters' funding and reinforce provincial and local law enforcement with federal officers. The federal public safety minister on Wednesday blamed extremist groups for helping organize protests in Ottawa and at U.S. border crossings. Police in the province of Alberta this week arrested 13 people linked to a border blockade there and seized guns. 4 members of the group have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder.
And anti-vaccine mandate protests in New Zealand have entered their 10th day. Hundreds of protesters have continued to occupy lawns in front of New Zealand's Parliament House, and they've blocked several streets with their trucks, vans and motorcycles as well. These protests started as a stand against vaccine mandates, partly inspired by Canada's Freedom Convoy movement that we were just hearing about. But these anti-vaccine protests in New Zealand have expanded, with several thousand more demonstrators joining, calling for an end to all COVID-19 restrictions in the country. The protesters have rejected vaccinations, or some protesters have, and have called for an attention to other social issues like censorship and the rights of the ethnic Maori community. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has criticised the demonstrators, calling an end to unacceptable activities.
Protest is not illegal in New Zealand. Building camps on the lawn of Parliament, obstructing the ability of young people to go to school, of workers to operate, and harassing those who are wearing masks and taking measures to keep themselves safe. That is the activity that is absolutely unacceptable, and that everyone in Parliament I've heard has called on that to end.